represent James Zena, the 3434 Woodward Avenue, Bolton. I came here for one reason. I came here for one reason. When sitting here, I can't believe what you just said. I can't. I'm an attorney 31 years. I worked in the Supreme Court. I worked in criminal law. This is the United States of America. There's nothing that would prohibit people from discussing a lawsuit that's pending. Nothing that would prohibit a discussion in a public forum of a lawsuit that's pending, unless perhaps you're talking about a criminal case, and I don't think any of you yet are being charged criminally with anything, and unless you're talking about a criminal case, nothing would prevent it. And this is so disturbing to me that you would actually say that people can't discuss a case that's pending, and it's not pending about animal shelter generally. I'm shocked and I'm appalled, and I have to tell you, my insides are still jumping over that. I mean, we're not in Nazi Germany, we're in the United States of America, and this is a public forum. I'm going to revisit this, Mr. Roth, because I'm that upset and I don't feel equipped to deal with it, but I'm just going to direct my question to the board about what I came here for, which was shocking to me, but I have to say not shocking as that. I understand, I recently learned that there was a pet, an animal, that was staying at the animal, that was being housed at the animal shelter, that was put to death. And I want to know how it could happen. How could somebody's personal pet be put to death by the animal shelter? And if you don't know anything about it, I hope if you're the representative from the animal shelter that they can tell me how that can happen. And you know, you don't know a pet. It was someone's personal pet. It was an animal dog that was owned by someone, and it was in the shelter. They were aware that the animal was owned, and it was obviously mistakenly put to death, And I want to know what the procedures are and what your policies are in the animal shelter to what policies are in place to justify any killing of any animal. I mean, to what are the procedures prior to an animal being put to death, and were those procedures used in this case, and what went wrong?
See, the problem is that every aspect of the animal shelter is the subject of the litigation. And
that's a bunch of bunk. You know, I'm tired of hearing that. You know what? I come here to hear something.
Let's show the problem.
No, you'll waste my time. Every time I come here, Mr. Ryan, it's a bunch of bunk.
You know, the problem is that these proceedings are taped, and these proceedings are recorded, and these proceedings are now making their way into the case.
And would you rather that these proceedings be hooded and quiet? I don't understand.
The point is that the litigants are here. The litigants, maybe the litigants don't ask the question, maybe the litigants have other people ask the question. What we're doing in this forum, what we have been doing in this forum, is trying the case. And therefore, we have been informed by outside counsel, since there's an upcoming trial, since everything that's said here winds up on the internet, there's a potential of poisoning the jury trial, and we have been told by outside counsel handling this that we should answer everything in writing. It's not that we're not going to answer your question, but we're going to answer everything in writing.
Excuse me, but that totally defeats the purpose to a public hearing, and I think the next step is you're going to come in here with a hood. And that's just unacceptable. This is a public forum. I happen not to know the people that are serving you.
And the bottom line is, we answer all questions when there's no litigation. You're ignoring that distinction.
There's no distinction. You don't have, this is the United States of America. You're not being criminally charged. You're not being criminally charged with anything. I sent a letter to the Attorney General and to the Comptroller's office about what I consider to be the malfeasance based on the numbers in the animal shelter, $7 million as opposed to $2 million in Brookhaven to take care of the same number of animals. Yes, I was quite concerned when I read that. I was quite concerned when I looked at the paper. I didn't show up here screaming and carrying on about it. I wrote a letter to the Attorney General. I wrote a letter to the Comptroller. I received a letter back from the Comptroller saying, yes, we are looking into it. Would that mean, because that's being looked into, that that's another reason? I've lived in town of Hempstead for 50 years, and I think this is important. Do you think that this is another reason for you people to not answer a question? Because it's uncomfortable? It's uncomfortable, or it's litigation? It's not a criminal case, and this is America. You don't have that luxury. And you don't have that. This is America. It's America.
You give advice to your client.
Now, I work for the state of New
We got
York.
advice from our outside.
Well, your attorney's a fascist, and I'm sorry. This is
Just because you don't agree with what he is
It's
saying,
not what he
it's
agrees.
unacceptable.
Are you aware? Are you an attorney?
It is unacceptable.
Have you read the Bill of Rights?
It is unacceptable to call him a fascist because you don't agree with his legal opinion.
It's not that I don't agree with his legal opinion.
That is simply
would
beyond the
agree
pale
with
of
it?
political discourse.
Mr. Santino, are you aware of the right of free speech and the right of assembly and the
When you
in
disagree
a
with
government?
someone's opinion, it is not appropriate to call them a fascist.
Thank you, Dad, but you want to know something? I don't need to be reprimanded by you. The fact of the matter is, this gentleman is putting a complete lid in this public hearing on something that everyone should know. It's disgraceful, beyond what you do with the animal shelter, which is beyond disgraceful.
Thank you for your
Incredible.